climate crisis isn't a problem. No, you haven't misheard me, and I don't think I've lost my mind. I work in sustainability, and as we know, there are so many problems. We're in a climate crisis, the ice caps are melting, animals are becoming extinct, and people are dying today. But what if I told you the climate crisis wasn't the problem? What if I told you it was the symptom? The symptom of an economic system that has been created to extract everything out of this planet and its people. And you've really got to ask yourself the question, who is benefiting from this system? So academics and economists will tell you that we have been born into something that's called an extractive economy. We are extracting or taking from the earth in order to make money. But what does that really mean? Well, I started thinking about it with what I was wearing. So think about that shirt on your back. Nowadays, most of our clothes are blended with polyester. It's easy to forget that polyester started off as a fossil fuel. It's then sent to Bangladesh, where a woman is paid next to nothing in order to sew it into a shirt. We then wear it a few times, and then we throw it away with little consideration of how we're polluting the planet. We buy it to go on holiday, we wear it once, and we never wear it again. We're all guilty of it, right? That is the extractive economy. That's how it works with most things that we buy. If you really think about it, that's how it works with most things that we buy. But how about we flip the script? How about we make money by doing good for people and planet? It's called the regenerative economy. How about you buy a good quality suit, or even better, a second-hand or pre-loved suit? You pay your workers fairly. The material lasts and is thought through. It lasts for more than a season, and then you repair it instead of throwing it away at the end. Or how about we even take it a step further? How about we make money by solving some of the world's issues? Instead of extracting and burning through fossil fuels to create energy, we put a solar panel on every single roof, a regenerative roofing solution. That's the promise of a regenerative economy. And do you know what I think? I think we know how to do it. I think the real challenge is overcoming our mental blocks to make it happen. So as part of my work, I am a member of the UN Global Compact. I get to attend the world-leading UN events. The first one I ever went to was COP26 in Glasgow. And for anyone who hasn't been there, it's like a giant trade show, right? So you have all these different stands, 60,000 people, world leaders, academics, scientists, all coming together to share their proposed solutions. It's so busy, everyone's kind of trying to outdo each other with the latest tech or the latest policy. And at that conference, I found something I wasn't expecting. In all the chaos, I found a meditation stand. And so I kind of went over to this guy at this empty meditation stand and teased him. I was like, are you really trying to get these world leaders to sit down and meditate with you? With everyone literally running around trying to save the planet, are you trying to get these world leaders to sit down beside you? Yes, he said. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the world leaders to implement the solution. So hands up if you meditate. Who's here meditates? Oh, there's a few of us. Who does 30 minutes? Maybe 30 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day? A few? 10 seconds? That's about as much as I got in today. How about 10 days? Hands up if you've done 10 days. Oh my gosh, we've got a few people. I didn't expect this. We've got a few people in the audience who have done 10 days of a silent meditation. So it's called Vipassana, and there are centers all over the world, and it's an ancient word. It means seeing things as they really are. And I've been thinking about going for years. Before I worked in sustainability, I worked in tech. And the CEO of Twitter at the time is a guy called Jack Dorsey, he'd made it really trendy. And so I said to this guy at the UN conference, what do you think of Vipassana? You're at this meditation stand, what do you think? And he said something to me which I'll never forget. He said to me, if everyone did 10 days of silence and did Vipassana, we wouldn't have this conference because we wouldn't have a climate crisis. We would already be living the solution. Strong words, right? So after thinking about it, I was like, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to do it. I was like, if there's a solution to the climate crisis, I've got to give it a go, right? And so when you arrive at a Vipassana center, I just want to make really clear there is no talking. And as you've learned, I'm Irish. We love to talk. And on top of that, they take away every single distraction. So you have no phone, no book, no journal. You can't even make eye contact with people. It's called a noble silence. And then there's a meditation hall, and you're guided to this meditation hall, and you're given a meditation cushion. And they tell you to start observing through your breath, basically. So just observe your breath in and out through your nose. After about an hour of this, you go crazy, right? Observing your breath. After 2 hours, you are done. I was like, I'm walking out of here. This whole thing is BS. I'm out of here. And just when I was about to walk out the door, I hadn't even lasted a day, the meditation teacher comes back, and they say, it does not matter who you are. You are all going through the same suffering. Does your back hurt? Does your knee hurt? Or maybe you've remembered something so important that you just have to get home for. Is it your work? Is it your children? And that's because you are a slave to your body and a slave to your mind. And by the end of the 10 days, you are going to be the master of your body and the master of your mind, right? And I was like, you've got me on this. I'm staying. So that's when I decided to stay. And they take you on a journey over the 10 days. But they actually call it an operation, because over the 10 days, you pierce your deep unconscious mind. With no distractions, you start thinking about your past and all the things you don't usually want to think about. For me, it was awful things that happened to me as a young girl, but then there was also the awful things that I did. All the things I wish I could take back. And in a meditation hall, in complete silence, you confront all of those things that you've buried so deeply. And that's why Vipassana translates into English as see things as they really are, because that's exactly what happens. So you confront the uncomfortable truths in your past. You also confront the uncomfortable truths in our world. You start to get comfortable with your fears, because when you sit with them long enough, they lose their power and they lose their grip. We must stop running, stop hiding, and look directly at the way we are exploiting this planet. And that's why I understood why the meditation man at the UN conference made so much sense. If we all took the time to see things as they really are, we would see that our economic system is broken, fundamentally broken, and it's not working for any of us. We would see that we are living in an extractive economy designed to violate this planet. And guys, it doesn't stop there. Our financial system, which holds our entire economy, is rooted in slavery. Our stock exchange started with the trading of human lives, real people sold like cattle. We use the words stocks and bonds every day without realizing they are rooted in the darkest parts of our history. Stocks of human lives, bonds of bondage. We wonder what diversity and inclusion has to do with the climate crisis. The climate crisis isn't the problem. It is the symptom of this extractive economic system that is exploiting the planet and exploiting people. And we have to face these uncomfortable truths, whether we like it or not. So I was so shocked when I learned this about our system. And I want to remind us that not one person on the planet has created this system. We have inherited it. We are not responsible for creating it, but we are responsible for solving it. And then people always say to me, well, how do we change the system? And what I'm talking to you today about is not a pipe dream ideology. I work with hundreds of business leaders who are adapting their business models. They have woken up and they have realized that it is our system that is broken, and they want to find another way. And so they usually start by asking themselves, what is the purpose of my business? Right? Is it to make as much money as possible at any cost? And it reminds me of when I did my business degree in Ireland in my 20s, because that's exactly what we were taught. We were taught the Friedman theory. Milton Friedman, the most revered economist of our time, taught us that the purpose of a business is to make as much money as possible for our shareholders. We know now he got it wrong. Our economic system was set up to simply make as much money as possible without considering the consequences. It is rooted in a system that no longer works for us. I work with business leaders who want to serve more than just their shareholders. Yes, they want to make money, they want to make a lot of money, but they also want to serve their stakeholders. Their stakeholders include the planet, their customers, their workers. I help businesses become B Corp certified because that is the mission of B Corp, to move businesses from a shareholder model to a stakeholder model. And there are now over 9,000 businesses globally who have made that commitment legally. There's no moral high ground here, so this isn't right-wing or left-wing. It is just common sense. There is no business on a burning planet, and we have to change. So my invitation to you is to stop for a second and to think, how do you make money? Can you create a business or work for a business that is doing good for people and planet, that is regenerating? And then, where will you spend your money? Because I always try to make sure I'm lining the pockets of someone who matches my values. When I came out of my 10 days of silence, that is when my world totally changed. After I stopped running from my fears, I was able to make change, and I've let go of the past, and I can move forward. And we can do the same with our world. We created this system, and we have the power to change it. We can build a future where the economy thrives by regenerating, not exploiting. We can create stakeholder capitalism, a regenerative system that gives back as much as it takes. It's totally possible. So let's stop running from the truth and start building the world we want to live in. And after attending so many UN conferences, the one thing I know for sure is that all the solutions already exist. They're just waiting for us to action them. So what are you waiting for? Thank you. Thank you.